Welcome back to another episode of Tamu Chronicles, bringing you life wisdom with no chaser, with sarcasm and a lot of attitude, daily, the long way. Listen, can we talk grown up right now? Because some of you all are not acting like it. Stop letting people remind you or throw up in your face your past mistakes, your past choices, where you have taken accountability and you've said, well, maybe I would not have made that choice. With what I know now, if I could redo that moment in my life, I would not make the same choice. Stop letting people throw that up in your face. Stop allowing people to remind you of that. Also, you will find, well, you should be finding, that as you, gain more years, that age number looks bigger. You start to get more birthdays. You're changing for the better. At least you should be. You're growing. You're elevating. In the way that you live, in the way that you speak, in the way that you view life, There's things that happen within you that should be happening to show that you have matured and continue to mature. And yet, you have people in your life that are saying, well, I remember when you used to do this. Or I remember when you used to speak this way. Or I remember when you used to dress this way. Stop allowing people to do that to you. That is a boundary. I think I talked about boundaries on the most recent episode. I'm not sure. But anyway, that is a boundary that you need to set up. And here's something else to think about. On your life experience, in your life journey, in your life experience, you're growing, you want to do different things, you're starting to want more and do more. You want to be, in a new way. You want to change, which you have every right to do. As a human being, you have a right to change your mind. Okay? You have a right to do things differently. You have a right to act differently. You can say, before I used to act this way, well, now I want to act this other way. You have every right to have that switch up. And if you have people in your life that are saying, well, you may be doing this now, but I remember when you used to do this. There are people, and I will say this, if you have those people in your life that think that they have to remind you of the, I'll say, old you, the way that you can set a boundary, you can set it in a way that is firm and direct, but still, still decent, still nice, still respectful. You can say, you know what? Yes, I made that mistake. I used to do things that way. Yes, you're right. But this is how I am now. And I would like for you to support that. I would like for you to support that. And if that person is in your corner, if that person respects your change, then they will support you. If not, then that is probably a person that no longer needs to be in your circle. That is a person that probably doesn't need to be in close proximity to you anymore. Because the truth of the matter is that as you grow, as you change, you want to be to be better. The truth of the matter is that not everyone is going to appreciate that. Not because people get so accustomed to you being a certain way that they think that, oh, because I'm used to seeing this person in this way, I know this person. Now I know you. I had someone, I'm bringing this up because I had someone attempt to do that to me. There was a scenario of some sort that another person was having, and we were all in a group having a conversation, and someone said, oh, well, Temu would probably do the same thing. And I said, well, no, actually I wouldn't. Oh, because you would do that before. You would, I know that, something else came up, something else similar, and you did this, and this. I said, yeah, but no, I would not do that now. And you have to be firm in setting those types of boundaries. I don't care, what the situation is. So, and going back to people being accustomed and getting used to you being in a certain way, sometimes you changing and you doing things differently and expressing yourself in a different way, it can be uncomfortable to those people, to that person that thinks that they know you. And instead of them taking a step back and saying, well, maybe this person is changing, they'll attempt to resist, or they'll try to keep you, or attempt to keep, no one can keep you in the same, you could say mind frame, identity, however you want to word that. They will attempt to keep you in that same vein, rather than just saying, okay, well, this person is different now, and I would like to get to know the new you. Can we normalize that? Can we normalize saying to each other, I appreciate your change. I appreciate your upgrade. Not that the way that you did things before was just, completely wrong and you were a bad person. No. Let's normalize saying, I appreciate that you want to change. I appreciate that you want to do things differently. I appreciate that you want to express yourself differently. I appreciate the glow up. I appreciate your switch up. We need to normalize telling each other that, rather than saying, oh yeah, I remember when you used to do that. Oh no, I know you would do the same thing because I know you. No. And a lot of times people will often say that because they're stagnant. And another person's change, another person's switch up, it bothers them. Because oftentimes it does take a lot of courage to say, you know what, I used to do this, but I don't want to do things like that anymore. I don't want to live in that expression anymore. It takes courage to do that. Especially when you have, you're in close proximity to people that knew, and I'm saying the old you because I don't want it to make that sound like a negative thing, because it isn't. Even your, mistakes that you made. Now, I'm not talking about you going out here making the mistake of robbing a bank. Let's not be stupid. I'm just talking about, mistakes. You said the wrong thing to somebody, or you told someone the wrong thing, or you made an investment that was not the best choice. You didn't get the money result. You didn't handle your, let's talk about money. You didn't handle your money right in the past. It could be anything that you feel that has changed the course of your life. It could be anything. But stop allowing people to interrupt your change. Stop allowing people's comments to interrupt your upgrade. Stop allowing people to interrupt your evolution. Set that boundary so that you can be free in who you want to be, in who you are always becoming. Okay? So, that is my truth for the day. That is my wisdom for the day. And if you have not binge watched my videos, please do that. Okay? Go back and watch. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Interact with me in the comments. Let me know how these episodes are helping you, because I know that these messages are touching someone. I know that they're pricking you. I know that my approach is a little bit in your face, but I'm doing that intentionally. All right? Because these are, sometimes I feel like messages like these, they need to be said without fluff. I hear some of these messages, but to me they have too much fluff. Just say what needs to be said, and that's what I'm doing on my platform, Tamu Chronicles, bringing you life wisdom daily, no chaser, with attitude, a lot of sarcasm, the long.